Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be talking about one of our favorite creators out there, Matty from the MetaKey.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if we talked too much about the MetaKey. I think we've briefly mentioned it, but now we're revisiting, re-entering the Metaverse / NFT sector, like balls deep into it, pretty much at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's time to really dive deeper into a lot of these things. And
so let's set the
article sticks out. Yeah.
I was gonna say, let's set the stage as to why I care about NFTs. So we've been around since 2019 talking about NFTs, and at that time NFTs were not interesting to anybody
except for us weird guys. I don't even know. We were definitely in our own little freaking club at the time.
Yeah.
Literally, you could probably gather all 50 of us into a single room. We'd be talking about these things.
Yeah. It says here, the market for non-fungible tokens have surged to new heights in the second quarter of 2021, with 2.5 billion in sales so far this year, up from 13.7 million in the first half of 2020. So
freaking figures, dude.
Yeah.
That 13.7 million figure is a little more familiar to me in the sense that was around the time when we started. So it was dude, it was tough to get anything sold back in those days.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But nowadays it's dude, you can literally throw a turd on a freaking piece of paper and NFT that, and dude, you're gonna sell a bunch of these.
Yeah, you just need to generate 10,000 versions of those, and then you're done.
Yeah, every turd is unique, right? One's got a little speck of corn here, another one's got a little freaking watermelon piece sticking out. Dude, that's the next hot NFT, right?
Yeah. So, as you can see, I mean, a huge turnaround in about a year for NFTs, and I think every single project, it's not related just to gaming anymore. It's more there's a lot more use cases that you could do with NFTs, just like there's a lot more use cases that you could do with cryptocurrencies. Instead of just having a currency, it's more of a utility token, right? So the same thing's happening with NFTs, and as you can see with this huge turnaround within the year, there's a huge market now. And I think what catalyzed a lot of this was NBA Top Shots. I think the pack drop mechanism that they had was brilliant, and they took what existed in the past, what worked in the past with packs, right? Whenever you're opening up Pokemon cards or basketball cards back in the day, you rip the foil open, and then you would have that dopamine effect.
Exactly.
And you just wanted to keep buying more because you could get the next rare card. And so they just the digital space weaponized that with NFTs, and now you have NBA Top Shots, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that little experiment totally boomed, and it at the time it was definitely a breakthrough moment where all of a sudden everybody was interested in NFTs, right? No longer was that room 50 strong. It was
hundreds of thousands
of people were interested. It felt like overnight, but really this has been a multi-year buildup.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Since the original CryptoKitties, even Ethermon was around in 2017. CryptoPunks, they didn't blow up till pretty much the start of this year either, right? But they were made 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Let's talk about CryptoPunks. So they were one of the first. I think they were the first NFTs, right?
No, I mean, I'm sure there's other NFTs before, but I mean, it's among the first.
It's among the first, and probably the most popular NFT, at least at that time.
Yeah.
And those were, I think, procedurally generated as well. Not quite sure if they were drawn manually, each one, 10,000 of them. It seems unlikely, but yeah, and now they're going for, some of them are going for millions of dollars. So there's a lot of applications that could be done. I think it's largely untapped what NFTs can do, but for now, it's the main component for NFTs have been either procedurally generated content, or it's NBA Top Shots, and then now a lot also more
the art industry too.
The art industry, of course, and now it's becoming a tool for community building.
Yeah,
and so we're seeing that with Deadheads now, and then most importantly MetaKey, right? That's exactly what the MetaKey is. It forms a community of strong, like community members trying to figure out best ways to contribute and create content, and then other projects out there leverage that community that was built by the MetaKey.
Yeah, it's kind of like very similar to like what we've already seen happen in the crypto space, like with the whole meme token takeover, right? The Shibas and the Doges, all these different like.
The current demographic is all about.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's Matty right there, bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matty. But yeah, like all the freaking Dogecoin mutations, like they start out as just like tools to build a community, right? Because at the time, the Doge meme was like such a viral sensation. Like anybody, it was just so hard not to gravitate towards it. So a lot of these project founders understood that, leveraged that to their advantage, and built massive communities, you know, by leveraging the tools of cryptocurrency to onboard them, right?
Yeah.
So I would correlate the same thing. Like MetaKey is leveraging the technology of NFTs, and like all of these NFT projects, like the Bored Apes, the
the pickles.
anything, the pickles. Yeah. There's so many more. Yeah, the deadheads. There's like some alien dudes I see all the time now. Like pretty much go on Twitter, go to crypto Twitter, NFT Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Just look at everyone's portrait, right? Yeah. Everyone has like a different collectible at this point that they're literally using to identify themselves as, right?
Yeah.
So this is it, man. Like this is the building block, the foundational building block to building. Who knows what's next, right? In the same sense, like the community cryptos, like the Badger coin, right? Like what would you assume is going to be created from that?
Yeah.
Right. Badger DAO.
Yeah.
Like what?
Anything.
It's
whatever galvanizes the community. That's what's going to be created.
Yeah, the community kind of like, I guess, yeah, they agree on an ideal or something that, look, we're powerful, and there's a lot of us. We have a lot of smart people among our community.
We're aligned.
And there's a lot of money within this community too. So like, what is it that we can achieve? You know, in Badger's case, I think the last time we covered them, it was like Bitcoin bridging, right? Something like that.
Yes.
Great goal.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to bridge Bitcoin to Ethereum, right? Like that's a huge need and value add to that whole Bitcoin ecosystem, right?
Yeah, because you're tapping into the liquidity in Bitcoin. Exactly.
So that's a valiant effort by a community. So who knows what these NFT communities can snowball into is pretty much like the gist, the main takeaway, right?
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, MetaKey, they're trying to tie the different metaverses into a collective to where the MetaKey holders can traverse to each metaverse and the content that was built to each metaverse for MetaKey holders. And so that in itself is a huge endeavor just to tackle, right, for a community to kind of leverage. And so I think we recognize that there's a huge opportunity with the metaverse. It's more about like trying to figure out ways to get the community involved, and I think what Matty's doing is one of the best ways to do it. Right, you incentivize the players to get involved and contribute content, and then all of a sudden you have projects just reaching out to MetaKey community and you know trying to tap into what Matty created. Right, so it's a big deal, and I think it's one of those components in the crypto space that is going to be copied a lot because it works so well.
I agree. Yeah, but it takes a lot. Like you can't. Well, I don't know. I mean. That's the thing. Matty also leveraged another important aspect to his story, which is like his own personal brand, his own. Yeah. The IP of the MetaKey is DCL Blogger. It's Matty. Like he's a very influential figure in this space, right? So, I mean, we've already speculated social tokens are going to be a big deal as soon as like major worldly influencers figure it out and like the necessary platforms roll out where it's like a simple process to tokenize your personal brand, right, and like build communities around that. So yeah, I agree. Like these Matty's definitely pioneering like the influential NFTing, I guess, your brand potential, right, and building a community off of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is it, dude? What are the MetaKeys like?
So there was 3 editions, and the first edition had a max supply of 500. The second had 750, and the third had 1,000, and they all completely sold out.
Damn.
And then I-Man was lucky enough to get one of the first editions, right?
No luck, dude. Like literally calculated. Like
Oh, was
there's no
it?
luck involved. Like I knew exactly what I was doing. Like I mean, we know the guy, Matty. Like I was aware of Matty's influence, like expanding over. Like I was witnessing it the past year,
Yeah.
covering the NFT space the way he did, and like capturing the whole like NFT art movement. Like he had a huge community supporting him. So like this is a no brainer, dude.
Yeah.
What do influential people do on TikTok or Instagram, YouTube,
Yeah.
whenever they build a huge audience, right? They create something and sell it to their audience. And what
Yes.
usually happens, they sell out in an instant.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So as soon as Matty was like, you know what, I'm creating a product, I'm creating like a way for my community to get a little more connected to what it is I'm working on and, you know, my influence, my network, my connection. I was like, dude, sold. I'm
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I'm getting one of these, taking it off the market. And so far it's been fire, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, we're gonna
pretty
show you how
cool.
much they're going for now, but even at 1,000, right? These are relatively rare NFTs, right?
Yeah.
Like this is pretty easy to sell out too. I mean, this is like so valuable, like you're saying, because it's connected to Matty's brand, and Matty has largely created this brand that's really intimately connected to the art space, and that art space is huge in its like just by itself. And
Oh, yeah.
so, and Matty's always been a part of the metaverse. So now he's saying basically, let's try to build a cohesive network of participants for the different metaverses, and let's figure out ways that the community can kind of galvanize and like come together to just create something that doesn't already exist. And like the delivery method for that is these NFTs, and I think it's like I said before, it's going to be one of those things that are going to be copied by other brands, established brands, and try to replicate something similar. Which that's just an indicator that you know it works. Just like we saw with like Sushi Swap, right? There is all these like copies, and those copies extend to the different networks out there. And so I think this is like one of the first iterations where we're going to see a lot more copies coming out pretty soon.
Agreed, dude.
Oh, look at this. Another one. So there's a future edition coming out soon.
Okay, cool.
So this one's 5,000 supply. Okay, cool.
So definitely follow the MetaKey and you know the Twitter page, the Discord community, all that stuff. If you're trying to get your hands on you know a new release, right?
Yeah, so largely their work is establishing partnerships. I mean, MetaZone is part of it. Ethermon's a part of the partnership here, and and so Matty's creating a huge community, and it's like a very very strong community, and projects are going to try to you know do something for this group of MetaKey holders, just because of that brand, that pull, that gravitational pull that Matty has is powerful.
Yeah, and it's kind of the nature of the space. Like
Yeah.
usually projects love to co-market with each other and collaborate, I guess is the actual word.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure that one out for a second, but there is an English word for this. They like to collaborate to kind of feed off of each other's community, right? It's all about like one big collective effort to kind of like push whatever it is, like the collective narrative is. Like I guess in this case it's the metaverse, right? And yeah, there's a lot of problems to the metaverse. There's a lot of construction that needs to be built. I mean,
Yeah.
it's largely unpopulated. So
Yeah, take
as long as, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, take a look at this land here, right? So imagine like this is a piece of the metaverse that Matty owns, right? And so part of the problem is it's very difficult for any one entity to kind of build everything in that metaverse. And so sort of our position is, well, like just in the real world, you look at a city, that city wasn't built by one company, right? And so the metaverse is going to be largely the same. Any place within the metaverse is going to be built by multiple people, and so that is why we built our platform so that it makes it easier to create content, and the burden of creating that content is no longer on yourself. And so there's huge plans between MetaZone and MetaKey in terms of like populating that content and creating like a cool experience for all MetaKey holders. It's just one of those things that it's like we have to have like the ideologies align. And obviously building content in the metaverse is extremely expensive and difficult. I mean, think about it. Like putting up a building seems easy enough, but then you need to have a 3D modeler, and then you got to have textures, and then what are you going to put inside the building? It's like, well, you could put furniture, right, or something more complicated like a dispenser, like a game component. Like then it's like, well, I can't do this all myself, so there's got to be tools out there that kind of help you do that. And so that's part of like why we think the metaverse is so huge, and it's aligned with like the whole community aspect of cryptocurrency, right? You need to galvanize the community in order to like make anything. And so it's the metaverse and communities are like the perfect match. And so we're trying to figure out ways to like leverage that aspect in terms of tools so that we can continue creating content and you know, have something interesting to do in the metaverse.
Yeah. Yeah. MetaZone is, it's almost at the point where like MetaZone is going to become like the engine for projects like the MetaKey, projects like Ethermod, projects like XYZ, right? If you have a concept or idea of being able to build a virtual community within the metaverse, you know, however you think that should exist, whether it's a game, it's a more of a social experience, whatever it is, whatever brand you're trying to leverage or economy you're trying to create, like MetaZone is focused on building the tools and facilitating that whole, like the construction of those we call them verses, right?
Yeah.
For now, I mean, today we had a discussion whether we should rebrand that whole terminology or not, but for now they're called verses, right? So this would be the MetaKey verse. Like if we're gonna try and populate the metaverse with different metas or different, who knows? There could be a MetaKey ERC20 token one day, right? Like there's. We could go in a ton of different directions with this.
And the verse, I mean, it's just short for universe, right? So if you're going to create your own verse, there are economic components that need to exist in order to create that like a cohesive community and to have some activities, right? And so part of that, the components that you need are 721s, which you have the MetaKey. You need 1155s, basically consumable NFTs, and then you need your ERC20 component so that you create a currency for your miniverse, right? For your verse. Mm-hmm. And so those are the tools that MetaZone has set out to build and is in progress. And it's making sure that the metaverse, we know that the metaverse is going to be built by the community, so we have to give the community those tools, because right now it doesn't exist. And so that's like the huge opportunity that we see, and collaborating with MetaKey is a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so get your MetaKey now, dude.
Yeah.
before things really be taken off. You know what I mean? Let's see. What else is going on?
Other things that have occurred with the MetaKey, there's been a ton of airdrops. I don't know if you've checked your wallet recently, the one holding your MetaKey, man, but there's been a couple of airdrops. There's been a bunch of virtual events. And, dude, all these partners, Ethermon, MetaZone, Webaverse, Sandbox, Bondly, Rarible, I mean, there's tons.
Bondly's going through some drama at the moment, but despite that, it seems like they're coming back.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. This list, it's only going to get bigger because like the community is only growing day by day. So yeah, like the collaborative like upside just continues to increase, right? Because like we're already postulating like the metaverse is going to be built by the community. Like that's kind of the whole point of it. It's like this decentralized collaborative effort to build the virtual world. So, I mean, projects like this that are literally figuring out how to galvanize people to get interested in the space, like it's definitely invaluable, right? Like it's part of the story, dude. Like this is the beginning of it all, I think.
Totally agree. So yeah, make sure you get this edition 4 MetaKey. I mean, they're probably gonna go pretty fast. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, let us know in the comment section below. What do you think of MetaKey? What are your thoughts? And yeah, follow us on Twitter. All the links will be in the description below. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Peace out.